But as soon as Rui Rio was elected president of the Social Democrats, that opposition ended. Rui Rio is aligning with the socialists and sometimes with the far left, which is an incredibly weird thing to see. But there is no opposition from the Social Democrats. So Assunção Cristas, as the leader of the Popular Party, which is a tiny party in parliament, but she has been the real opposition to the government. However, and this is again another characteristic of Assunção Cristas, she sometimes says things that, they make sense, like border control, and that we have to keep our expenses in check, while at the same time, she supports, just like the Social Democrats did, she supports the retroactive return of the cuts that the teachers received since 2010, or since the last government of José Sócrates, before the bankruptcy. And the teachers are demanding to receive 9 years, 4 months, 2 days of back pay, essentially, retroactively. They want to receive it all in one go. While she claims that the expense needs to be controlled, and she was in a government that had to do that sort of control, but she is supporting the measure that the teachers have to receive this in back pay. And why are they doing it? They are doing it because it's a way to show how this socialist government has lied. Because they have claimed the end of austerity, they have said that they have returned the wages back to what they were before the bankruptcy. But that was a lie. And that's a lie since 2016, when this government actually started doing something. And this has been proven over and over and over again, with numbers, with actual financial and economical data. But all of a sudden, both the Social Democrats and the Popular Party, under the leadership of Assunção Cristas, they decided to support this measure, even claiming that they would vote favorably to it in Parliament, which would mean a permanent expense that could never be cut again, and we would be back basically to the exact same situation that we were in 2011. And actually worse, because this government has made sure that the expense increased, even though they are cutting all over the public services. The expense has increased because they have promoted the benefits to the public servants and to certain pensioners that has made the expense skyrocket. Accepting this to the teachers means that everyone else that didn't get what the teachers are getting will complain to get them. And this is something that this government has promised over and over, but they were lies, they were illusions, and they said that austerity has ended, but it didn't end. It's the worst ever. And the way that these stupid center and center-left parties decided to show that they were lies, even though they have been showing that they were lies, at least Assunção Cristas has been showing that they were lies since she, was opposition since 2015, they decided to say that they were going to support this to the teachers. It makes no sense. It's such a ridiculous position to have at this point. It doesn't make sense to want to show that the government is lying by supporting something that will bring us closer to our fourth bankruptcy. It's so ridiculous that I wanted to do a video specifically on this when they said, both the Social Democrats and the Popular Party, under the leadership of Assunção Cristas, when they said that they were going to support this to the teachers. I was going to do a video specifically on this, but I had to wait. I had to wait because this was so nonsensical. This was so stupid that I could not believe that they would do such a thing. And they didn't. I was proven right not to do the video because they proved me right, because they backtracked. They backtracked to now say that they never said that they would support it. They never said that they would do such a thing. Assunção Cristas, for example, said that she never said that she would support it 100%. She said that she would support it only under certain conditions. But that's a clear lie, because there are no certain conditions. That doesn't exist in Portugal for decades, actually. And specifically since the last bankruptcy. We have no such conditions to make this retroactive return of cuts to the teachers those conditions will never exist from this point on. They don't, because as we are now, before these supposed retroactive returns of money to the teachers, we, the country, are already unsustainable. The state is unsustainable. And this government, the current socialist and communist government, they have made sure that nothing has changed. Everything stayed the same, but the expense increased. And the debt also increased. That's basically their contribution in 4 years to this country. And so she, Assunção Cristas, knows perfectly well that those conditions do not exist. However, initially she said, yes, we will support it, just to show that the government has lied for 4 years. And then she had to backtrack, because to support that in parliament would be suicide for the country. And so she backtracks, saying, oh no, I never said that. I said that I would only support it under certain conditions, the same conditions that she knows that Portugal doesn't have and will not have for the foreseeable, 40 years. Because Portugal is unsustainable as it is. The state is unsustainable. It's always the same. And people continue to choose the same policies. And Assunção Cristas, all of a sudden, decided to be stupid, basically. That's all I can say. Rui Rio, the guy from Social Democrats, I expected him to be stupid, because he always showed, as soon as he got elected, the president of the Social Democrats, he showed to be quite stupid. He wanted just to have some sort of alliance with the socialists so that he can put some boys from the Social Democrats in government. That's all he wants. He doesn't care about the country. Actually, no Portuguese politician cares about the country. But still, until that point, the Social Democrats were more moderate in the way that they replied or acted towards the way socialism is applied in Portugal, and they would actively oppose most of what the socialists did. But with Rui Rio, that thing is gone. The Social Democrats are exactly the same as the socialists. They have absolutely no differences. With Rui Rio there, they are the Socialist Party B. And the Popular Party under Assunção Cristas, as I said, up to this point, had been relatively good in doing their opposition to the government. And all of a sudden, with this teachers thing, they just destroyed themselves. I can't believe how stupid that was, because up to that point they had been showing precisely how much the government has lied, how much the end of austerity is a lie, how much they have created illusions to everyone that listens to the government propaganda that everything is amazing in Portugal, when it's not. It's quite the opposite. But then they decide to do this stunt, this theater, essentially. And then they have to backtrack, because they knew perfectly well that they could never, ever support this. That means permanent expense that cannot be cut forever. And in the state that we are now, something like this is making sure that the fourth bankruptcy is coming sooner than it's already coming, but with this it would come sooner. So my opinion on Assunção Cristas is that she kind of showed who she was. She, up to this point, seemed to be different, but she isn't different. She showed who she was, because no one that is decent, no one that knows what they are doing, would be doing what she did in this last week. In fact, she gave an interview where she says something like she envies the way that the Socialist Party promotes their propaganda, essentially. That's what she said in an interview to a radio, I believe. And this is baffling to me. How can you be envious of deceitful parties, of parties that spread lies, of parties that have destroyed this country so many times, and they continue to be in power precisely because they deceive people, precisely because they make sure that the reality is distorted? How can she be envious of this? It's not possible. Now, the media is completely leaning to the left, so what she said in that interview, I didn't listen to it myself. I only read on the newspaper what she said, so it could have been twisted. The context could have been changed. But I would not be surprised if she actually said that, because she, with this teacher's thing, I think she showed who she really is. Because no one decent would do that at this point. And she did. So that's about it. I hope you like this, and I'll see you next time.